And welcome. I'm your host, Tim Collins. It's Answer the Coll podcast. Happy Monday, December 2nd. Oh my gosh, it is December. We made it through Thanksgiving, and what a feast it was, both in college and NFL. Of course, this is hour one of the 2-hour special on Mondays where we are going to be talking some college ball, guys. A lot of action happened over the weekend, though. It was rivalry week in the NCAA. A lot of rival games, North Carolina, NC State, South Carolina, Clemson, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, Auburn. I'm going to be talking about some of those games and a lot more. So right now, just sit back, relax, enjoy Answer the Coll podcast, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We appreciate you tuning into the show. Oh my gosh. So it started on Thursday, guys, with the Tulane-Memphis game. And if you guys remember, I had a special guest on last Wednesday's show, Peter from the 3rd and 33 podcast, and we kind of went over some of the games. And we both said Tulane was going to beat Memphis, and that didn't happen, guys. That didn't happen at all. And that just led to a wild week of college football, starting with the Memphis game. So Memphis goes in and beats Tulane, and then we got started with some really good rival games, and we had some really good Black Friday games that I'm going to be going over. Of course, Boise State beat Oregon State, and there were a couple other ones. The Georgia Tech-Georgia game. I definitely want to talk a little bit about that game, but right now it's time for the call-ins on the NCAA side. Wisconsin's current winning seasons streak at 22 ends with the loss to Minnesota. So Wisconsin, the Badgers had 22 straight winning seasons, and that's all up in flames now because they suffered a tough loss to the Golden Gophers. So Oklahoma State also, their winning season ends at 18. Coach Mike Gundy has been the coach, and he's always had a winning season for the past 18 years. With a 52-0 loss to Colorado. Colorado was, saying, hey, I need to get into this Big 12 title game. They laid it all on the line. And Oklahoma State is not the same Oklahoma State that was ranked. They were ranked 13th at one point, and they've really fallen off. And, they won the first 3 games, and they lost the last 9, all in conference play. So, Oklahoma State is going to look to rebound, and I think Mike Gundy has earned the right to at least come back for one more year. So Oklahoma State's winning season ends at 18. Gus Malzahn, he used to be coach coordinator for Arkansas. He went on to Auburn, and then he was at UCF. He is resigning as head coach of UCF for offensive coordinator position at Florida State. So Florida State's already making moves, guys. They had a real tough season. Went 2-10 after being, ranked in the preseason top 10. They were ranked 10 in the preseason. And now Gus Malzahn is going to be the offensive coordinator for, Florida State. So, hey, maybe that's what Florida State needs because they've kind of had a real disastrous season this year, and I don't know. I mean, you can only go up from here. I mean, you can't go much worse than what they already had. Stanford hires Andrew Luck. If you remember, Andrew Luck went to Stanford. He was QB there. Stanford is hiring Andrew Luck as GM of the football program. The role involves everything Stanford football touches, football-wise and business-wise. Luck will also help with fundraising, securing sponsorships, increasing attendance, and alumni relations. Luck had success at QB under Jim Harbaugh. Now the team hopes he can be a similar leader. So, Andrew Luck was a real good quarterback for Stanford, and that was, when Stanford was actually winning some ball games and relevant. And they're now 3-9 on the season. They finished the year 3-9 for the 4th straight season. That is crazy. I mean, at least they're consistent, right? So we got old Andrew Luck being the GM of the Stanford, Cardinals. So All right, guys. I think that is all the call-ins I have on the college side, and we have some games to talk about. We have, the call out segment, Call of Fame, Call of Shame, in just a little bit. So, we got a lot to talk about. Georgia versus Georgia Tech on Friday night, Black Friday. Oh my gosh! If you went to bed early on this one, you missed a dandy. You missed an absolute dandy. I actually had to go back and watch this game early Saturday morning before the first slate of college games because I was one of those people. I didn't want to go to bed, but I had to go to bed because I had to get up early on Saturday. And oh my gosh, when I went to bed, it was 17-0. It was 17-0 Georgia Tech. I was like, wow, Georgia Tech came to play. And what can be described as the game of the year, guys. Georgia struggled in the first half, going down 17-0, like I just said. Many thought that just maybe Georgia Tech could pull off a massive upset. They were 19.5-point underdogs going into this. And in the first half, it didn't show at all, guys. It didn't show at all. And I got to tell you, I was on that Georgia Tech bandwagon there for a little bit. I was like, man, maybe they can pull it off. In the first half, Georgia Tech's defense was playing lights out. I mean, they shut out Georgia in the first half. I was like, wow, Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia already secured their spot in the SEC title game, so it kind of wasn't really playing for as much. But, I mean, still, you want to win as many games as you can to solidify your playoff chances. Well, so the first half ended 17-0. Georgia Tech doesn't score in the third. The Bulldogs get 6. Then in the fourth is when things start to really change, guys. It really just took a turn. And Georgia Tech is up 14 with 5 minutes and 46 seconds left in the game. Momentum would shift, and Georgia would tie the game, guys. They would tie the game and send this game to overtime. But not one overtime. But one overtime wasn't enough for these two. Heck, not even 2 or 3, not 4 or 5, not 6 or 7, guys. It took 8 overtimes to decide a winner. It took 8 overtimes. Georgia wins 44-42. Now, I want to point out that this is only the second time a game has ever went to 8 overtimes. The other one was Illinois defeating Penn State 20-18 in a game with 9 overtimes in 2021. That was a low-scoring game for 9 overtimes. But so this Georgia Tech was the only second time that it's ever reached 8. There's been several games that have hit 7, but only the second time that a college game has ever hit 8 overtimes, and it was a good one. So in that fourth quarter, things really started to light up. And I got to say, guys, Georgia is weird because it's like when you start counting them out, that's when they show up. And I don't know what to think about this because in the first half they got dominated, and then they kind of eased into it in the third, and then in the fourth it's game on. And Carson Beck, I feel like, played a really good game in this one, so he played a good one. And that's kind of what really set the tone for rivalry week going into Saturday was the Georgia Tech Georgia game. And if you missed college football on Saturday, I feel real sorry for you guys because you missed a lot of action, guys. You missed a lot of action. I'm not going to lie. There was great games up and down. I know I spent all day Saturday like I do most Saturdays. I didn't do a whole lot. I had 4 games going on at a time, and I got to tell you, now one game I was real laser focused on was the game. And I'm talking about Michigan at Ohio State, guys. This was, talk of the week. And, this is a game that me and Peter last week, we said that Ohio State was going to win. So we're going to find out how we stacked up here. The game was as intense and physical as we expected. This is true Big Ten football. Low scoring and smash mouth style on both sides, guys. both sides of the ball by both teams. It was smash mouth, in your face. These guys hate each other, and it showed. It showed in the game. It showed during the game. It showed on the field. It showed after the game. So there was even a scuffle on the sideline after Michigan defender drags Jeremiah Smith down out of bounds. Jeremiah Smith is like two steps out of bounds, and the Michigan defender pulls him down. And that's kind of what really set the tone and started all of this in this game. There was a lot of action, a lot of smash mouth, and I got to say, guys, it was as physical and intense as I thought it was going to be. It was a great game. It was low scoring, but it was a great game. And the score is tied 10-10 at halftime. Neither team can score in the third. This is second time since 1999 that this game was tied going into the fourth quarter, guys. Both defenses got turnovers in critical moments in the game. Both teams left points off the board. They left points off the board, guys. Ohio State missed back-to-back chip shot field goals. Michigan kicks go-ahead field goal with 45 seconds left. Wolverines shock the world, and they win 13-10 at Ohio State, beating the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, after the game, there's all hell kind of broke loose after the game, guys. I'm not going to lie. All hell kind of broke loose, and a Michigan player decided that he was going to put their flag, the Michigan flag, right there in the middle, right in the center of the logo at the 50-yard line, right dead center in the O at Ohio State. And, I can't blame Ohio State players for this, guys. They got into a fight. I mean, all hell broke loose. And I got to say, I defend Ohio State's players because I'm going to tell you, just like what Ryan Day came out and said after the game, these are grown men, and I expect them to have that reaction. You want to put your flag on my field? No, you're going to pay for that. I don't condone violence, in a football game, but that was the ultimate disrespect. You don't stick your flag on another team's field and think you're going to get away with it. And it's a real tough break for these seniors at Ohio State because now Michigan has beat Ohio State for 4 straight years now. So the seniors never beat a Michigan team. So I feel bad for the seniors at Ohio State. But, guys, I got to tell you, afterwards, and I get it, you're trying to have fun and kind of establish your dominance, in this rival game after the game. But the Michigan players, I mean, they got what they had coming to them, really, because I can't think of too many people that love and are passionate about the game that are just going to sit back and watch, somebody else put a flag on their field. So it all broke loose. I did hear that $100,000 was, fines, both Michigan and Ohio State. So they both got fined $100,000, guys, and I don't know. But I got to tell you, that was kind of the tone all Saturday. After that game, we saw a lot of teams trying to put their flag, if the away team got the win, they were trying to put their flag on the home team's field, and it led to a lot of scuffles on Saturday. So Miami, the Hurricanes, they're going to the playoffs. They're going to the ACC championship game. They control their own destiny. All they have to do is win, and you're in the ACC title game, guys. You're in the ACC title game. Miami definitely came in this game prepared and ready for the ACC title game this week. They went up 21-0 on Syracuse. 21-0, guys. The Hurricanes came out strong, which is the opposite of how they normally come out, which is kind of slow and sluggish out the gate. They came out just bam, 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 firing on all cylinders. So then the Orange wakes up and realizes they are playing a football game. They're playing a football game against the Miami Hurricanes. They finally wake up. they would go on to score 14 straight, making it 21-14 at half. After the half, Syracuse goes on to outscore Miami 21-7 in the third quarter. Syracuse leads 35-28. The Orange only scores 7 points in the fourth, but that's all they needed, guys. That's all they needed. Final score, Syracuse 42, Miami 38. With the loss, Miami is out of the ACC title game now. So now Clemson is in the ACC title game and could well be out of the playoffs, guys. So, I mean, it kind of depends. You know, if Clemson wins the ACC title game, obviously Clemson and SMU will go and represent the ACC. Miami, you know, they haven't really got the wins. Like, they haven't got the dominating wins that they should have. They struggled against a lot of teams and almost got beat by Duke, guys. So now their playoff chances are kind of really just hanging on, you know, whether or not the committee wants to allow them to be a part of it. And, you know, maybe they should, because, I mean, they do only have the 2 losses on the season versus like a team like Bama who has 3 losses. So we'll have to see how the committee sees this. But if Clemson does lose, that could reopen Miami to, you know, to be in the playoffs. So I don't know, guys. We'll have to see how it plays out. Let's see here. In my opinion, I'm not sure they deserve a spot. I know it's only their second loss, but honestly, they probably should have lost anywhere from 1 to 3 more than they did. It will be interesting to see how the committee will view this. You know, it is. We don't know how the committee is going to view that, but, you know, they didn't have the as good of wins as they should have had to really kind of help their case, to really just solidify their season. And that loss at the end to Syracuse, I mean, hey, not knocking Syracuse. You played good. Well, once you got down 21, you played good. But, hey, and the coach afterwards, he says, hey, Dabo Sweeney, I got you, baby. Talking because now that opened up the door for Clemson to get back into the college playoffs, the 12-team college playoffs. So, well, Saturday night, guys, was the game of all games. It had a lot on the line. It was Texas Longhorns versus the Texas A&M Aggies. This was a big SEC matchup with a lot on the line, guys. Winner faces Georgia in the SEC championship game. If Texas loses, they would still have a chance of making the playoffs. If Texas A&M loses, then they are eliminated from playoffs. Texas came out aggressive. Both sides of the ball, guys. They came out playing Texas football early. Texas A&M will go for a touchdown on a 4th and 1 on opening drive, and they got stopped. The defense comes out. That's the opening Texas needed. Though Texas went 3 and out on their first possession, the Aggies get great field position, but Marcel Reed throws an interception 3 plays later. Texas takes over at their 7. They would drive the field 10 plays, 93 yards in 4 minutes and 41 seconds. The drive was capped off by a 15-yard run by Arch Manning. Arch Manning, guys. I got to say, Texas really utilized Arch Manning in this game. I would have liked to seen him throw the ball a little bit, because then that would have really kept that Texas A&M defense off balance. But it was every time he was in, they were doing a read option or you know, something of that nature. And I got to say, it was working. And it worked on that drive there, you know, capped off with a 15-yard run by him. And that was a good drive. That was a good Texas drive right there. Texas would get another touchdown and field goal before the first half. They also missed a field goal as time expired in the first half, so it's 17-0 at halftime. In the start of the second half, Texas is driving until Quinn Ewers throws an interception outside of the red zone. The Aggies return it for a touchdown. So now it is 17-7, guys. It is 17-7. The next drive, Texas has 12 plays, 68-yard drive that ends with a Quinn Ewers fumble. Back-to-back drives end in a turnover by Quinn Ewers. Oh, my gosh. I got to think, guys, you know, Quinn Ewers, maybe you do need to get Arch Manning in there and get him throwing the ball a little bit, because you don't want Quinn Ewers to make a mistake in the playoffs and that cost you your season, because that would devastate all the Texas Longhorn fans and it would devastate the players, and it's just not good for the organization, the program. So I would like to see Arch Manning throw the ball a little bit more. He is very capable. In the games that Quinn Ewers was hurt, he came in, stepped up, and he got the job done. The Longhorns kept too many points off the board. They kept it too many, the 2 turnovers, the missed field goal. That's potentially 17 points right there that they kept off the board. So they won't be able to do that in the SEC championship game. They got Georgia in the SEC championship, and they're definitely not going to be able to get away with that kind of play in the playoffs. When it's win or go home, a lot of teams are going to be coming at them real aggressively. So, I want to see that Texas team kind of really just get back to Texas football. And, big shout out to their running back. He played hard. I mean, he had probably 160, 170 yards in the game. And he was just – the Aggies could not stop him. It was like handoff and boom. He's running up 5, 6, 7 yards at a time, it seemed like. And I want to point out that the left tackle, Banks Jr., for Texas gets hurt in the game. And the freshman comes in and, guys, he does really well too. So, Texas has a really good offensive line, and it really showed in this game. They were able to push the Aggies around, and I know that they only put up 17 points all in the first half, but they left at least 14, 17 points off the board total. So, I mean, this could have definitely been a whole different ball game. So, in the SEC championship, I hope that, it is the best Texas version versus the best Georgia version, and just a head-to-head knockout fight. So it should be a good game, guys. It should be a good game. Now, before I reveal my top 25 versus the AP top 25, I think I want to go ahead and do the call out segment. And I've got some good ones, guys. I've got some good ones here. All right, let's see. Call of Fame. Golden Gophers. Minnesota Golden Gophers. I have 2 of them. I have a twofer for the Golden Gophers. Wide receiver Daniel Jackson, 200 career catches, is 3rd most in team history. Oh my gosh, good job, man. The Minnesota's had an up and down season, but you've had a great career there, and you are 3rd most in team history with 200 career catches. Now, the kicker, Dragon Kashish. I don't know, guys. It's Keshich. If you guys figure out how to pronounce that, please let me know, because I definitely don't want to mispronounce it. But it is Keshich. He is 10th all-time kicker scoring in team history. So he made their top 10 in kicker scoring. So good job to Dragon. Man, what a name. What a name. Huh? You definitely make the Call of Fame just for your name alone, but good job being 10th all time in the team's history in scoring as a kicker. So good job there. Good job there. Let's see. Travis Hunter. Mr. Travis Hunter. Call of Fame. Travis Hunter. And this is actually like a twofer with Travis Hunter. I have 2 different things for Travis Hunter, guys. Travis Hunter becomes 2nd player with 4+ receiving touchdowns and 4+ interceptions in a season in FBS history. Aqib Talib in 2007 for the Jayhawks. I want to point out that Talib would go on to be an All-Pro and a 5-time Pro Bowler. So, Travis Hunter's in some good company right there. Travis Hunter joins Troy Edwards as only players with 10+ receiving touchdowns and multiple interceptions in a season in FBS history. So, Talib had the 4+ on both. Well, Travis Hunter and Troy Edwards has 10+ receiving touchdowns and multiple interceptions, only 2 in FBS history, guys. So big shout out to those people for just, gosh dang, Hunter, he's in the Heisman, and, should he be Heisman? Should he not be Heisman? We don't know. That's yet to be decided. I got to say now, though, Ashton Genty's team is still going. Colorado's knocked out, so that might hinder the Heisman voting just a little, guys. So we'll have to keep it up. We'll have to keep our eyes on it. All right, Call of Fame, Mr. Tyler Warren, tied in for Penn State. We don't talk about Penn State very much, but right now they're in the Big Ten Championship with the loss by Ohio State, and they beat Maryland. They are now taking on Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. So Tyler Warren, most career touchdown catches with 17. That is a Penn State history, like most in Penn State history. Check out the names that he passes, guys. He passes Mike Gesicki with 15. He passes Pat Freiermuth with 16. He's in great company. He passed those two, and now he's the all-time touchdown catch leader by a tight end. So good job, Tyler Warren. And that is the call-outs, guys, where I called you out, or in this case, I recognized you for a job well done. For a job well done. Now, I know the top 25 doesn't have as much meaning now. The college playoff rankings are coming out, but, the top 25 is still the top 25, and I'm still doing my top 25 versus the AP poll. Let's see how well I stacked up today, guys. It is actually really interesting. All right, so teams 1 through 3, I got exactly right with the AP poll, and that is Oregon, Texas, and Penn State. 1, 2, and 3. Oregon, Texas, Penn State, in that order. Okay, at 4, I put Georgia, guys. I had them jumping Notre Dame because in the college playoff rankings, as high as Notre Dame can go is 5. So I said, why make them higher in an AP poll? And the AP poll did not agree. They put Notre Dame. So we flip-flopped. I put Notre Dame at 5 and Georgia at 4. They put Notre Dame at 4 and Georgia at 5. Now 6, we both got right, Tennessee. Now 7 and 8, we flip-flopped. I put SMU and Ohio State. They put Ohio State, then SMU for 7 and 8. Now 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I agreed with the AP poll, or the AP poll agreed with me, however you want to look at it. And that is number 9, Indiana. Number 10, Boise State. Number 11, Bama. Number 12, Arizona State. Number 13, South Carolina. Number 14, Miami. Number 15, Ole Miss. Number 16, Iowa State. Number 17, BYU. Number 18, Clemson. And number 19, UNLV. All right, now 20 and 21, we kind of flip-flopped again. I put Illinois at 20 and Colorado at 21, and they put Colorado at 20 and Illinois at 21. So I got the teams. I just flip-flopped the order. All right, now Missouri at 22, we both agreed on. Now I put Army at 23. They put Syracuse. At 24, I put Memphis. They put Army. And I put Syracuse at 25, and they put Memphis. So I got all the teams. I just mixed up a couple of the orders, So, the AP poll and myself kind of agree, kind of see eye to eye. I did put Georgia at 4 because, like I said, Notre Dame, the highest that they can hit in the college playoff rankings is 5 because they're an independent. So I thought, in a top 25, they shouldn't be any higher than 5 because, they're not going to get higher than 5th in the rankings. So the AP poll didn't see it that way. Now, guys, I want to point out that Ohio State, you suffered a terrible loss, okay? There is no question about it. You guys suffered a terrible loss. But I want to point out something. Even though you guys lost, you guys won, okay? And I know you guys are like, well, what does that mean? How can I win when I lose? Check this out. Oregon and Penn State both have to play this week in the Big Ten Championship, okay? They both have to play. Well, you don't. You kind of get that bye week. And I know, playing in the Big Ten with the potential of having the first round bye would have been great. But now it's kind of like you have a bye to get ready for whoever you get matched up with, which, you can kind of, just start preparing for a couple of teams because you're probably going to be somewhere, I would say, in the 7-8 ranking. Okay. If I had to take a guess. But so now you kind of get a chance to, move around a little bit, and you get a chance to kind of get your people healthy. I know the offensive line was kind of banged up a little bit. I know Peter and I talked a little bit about that on last Wednesday's show. And I just want to point out, guys, so now you get this bye week. You kind of get to look at teams and prepare for them, and you get to get healthy while Oregon and Penn State are going to go beat the crap out of each other this week just to try to make the Big Ten be the representative Big Ten and get that first round bye. So you guys won in this, and just, get ready, get healthy, and you guys should make the playoffs. And, who knows, maybe you can still make a really good run. Now, I do want to point out, though, Ryan Day struggles against Michigan. He is 1-4 in his career versus Michigan. He is 47-1 versus the rest of the Big Ten. That one loss was to Oregon. So, he's kind of a lot like Kirby Smart and Bama. He doesn't lose to the rest of the conference outside of Oregon this year, which really, Ohio State was in that one and could have easily have beat Oregon at Oregon. And then we're having a whole different discussion here. So we just need to, relax. But Ryan Day, I will say, if Ohio State doesn't make a run, people might be asking you to not be coach anymore. So we got a lot of games, guys. It is conference championship week. Oh my gosh, conference championship week is here. We got some good ones. Guys. And I'm excited. I'm gonna run through these, and then, as the week progresses, maybe talk about each one of these games, or as many of these games as I can. The Conference USA Championship, Friday. Western Kentucky and Jack State. Jack State is 2.5 favorites. So 2.5 favorites on that one. The AAC, the American Athletic Conference. Tulane is favored 4.5 over Army, guys. Tulane is favored 4.5 over Army. Mountain West. Now, I should point out that the AAC is on ABC, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern. You guys go from there on ABC. The Conference USA is Friday. I didn't see a listing for that one. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. There are a couple of games on Friday, 3 games on Friday. And I didn't see one for the UNLV Boise State, the Mountain West. 7 p.m. Central Time. Boise State's favored by 4.5. So we got a couple of games that we don't know what channel they're on. Maybe that'll get decided later in the week. We don't know. But guys, this is a good time. We have the conference championship, going into the playoffs, national title, just a little over a month away, month and a half. All right, on Saturday, it is the Big 12 Championship, 11 a.m. Central Time on ABC. Iowa State taking on Arizona State. And this one didn't have a favorite. You know, they didn't have the underdog or the favorite in this one. So I don't know if I do see one. I will, you know, see what the opening line is. Okay, so then we move to 3 p.m. Central Time on ABC, the SEC Championship. Georgia taking on Texas, and right now the Longhorns are favored by 1.5, guys. 1.5 point favorites going in, opening line. Then we have 2 games at 7 p.m., one on ABC, one on CBS. The ACC is 7 p.m. Central Time on ABC. Clemson is 1.5 favorite over SMU. And then we have the big boys playing in the Big Ten. Penn State at Oregon, 7 p.m. Central on CBS. Oregon favored by 3.5 in that one. That should be good, guys. That should be good. Conference championship week, you know, so a lot of teams have the bye, and, you know, now, you know, teams get to reevaluate their season and see how it is. But for these teams, you know, it is time to put up or shut up, you know, and there's still a wild scenario where maybe Tulane makes it, or maybe even Army makes it. I know it's a little crazy right now, but guys, I think Arizona State, Iowa State should be a good one. I think the Georgia-Texas Part 2 is going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to the Penn State-Oregon. I know Steven is looking forward to, on Friday, the UNLV-Boise State. That should be a good one. And it'll be interesting to see how, you know, if Boise State wins, just like where they end up in the rankings. So, and oh, I forgot the MAC championship is on Saturday. The MAC championship between Ohio and Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio is 2-point favorites. That game is 11 a.m. on ESPN on Saturday. I actually accidentally skipped that one, guys. Holy cow. So we got a lot of good games this week. I know the college, you know, it's almost over, and for some of us that is sad. For a lot of us it's sad. But hey, don't think of it like that. Think of it like this. We have conference championship week. Next week we have the first round of the playoffs. Then, you know, so we have a good time. We have a good time. It is a good time right now, and I think we're going to see a lot of great college football, guys. We're going to see a lot of great college football. So I think that is all I needed to cover for today. I'm going to try to be back tomorrow to talk more college, but we'll see, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening, whether it is your first time or you're a returning listener. I appreciate this. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to the show. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. Answer the Coll on Spotify in the podcast section. Answer the Coll, COLL. You can find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. So just find us wherever it is, and shoot out the questions or the comments. Let us know what you guys are thinking. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.